Look at the camera.
I mounted it upside down. Welcome back to Moto Photo Adventures, everybody. I'm Jason Bennett, and today we are going to install another piece of equipment from MotoPumps. If you are like me and was born and grew up a generation ago with a couple of guys named Rand and McNally, you could probably get around town without a whole lot of effort. But these days, since things have become, well, easier and a little more sophisticated, we have something called a GPS. And that's great because it gets you everywhere you want to go without actually having to think about it. But with the GPS and on a motorcycle, we have to have a way to mount it. Enter MotoPumps. Stick around. First things first, let's take a look at what has been sent to us. Obviously, there is the GPS mount still in its plastic with all of the hardware that is supposed to come with it. But as a bonus, we also have had sent to us the locking plate with its own specialty key from MotoPumps. This will probably end up being my keychain. We'll see. We also have a Torx socket. We also have skizzers. You want to know why I say skizzers? Because I can't say scissors. We also have the GPS, obviously. This is my Zumo, and this is the plate and the wiring for it. And don't forget, we have an entire video done by Chris on his Aprilia about the locking plate for MotoPumps. On the Norden 901, it is really kind of cool because right up here above the dash is a specifically wired place for a GPS mount. Would you like to know how I know that for sure? Take a look really close. It says remove for GPS mount. That kind of gives us an indication of what's supposed to go there. And it's only connected by 2 screws. And it is the Torx T30. So we're going to go ahead and take this off of here, and I'll show you what Norden Husqvarna has done to make it super simple for us to install this GPS mount by MotoPumps. Stand by. Hey, I want to take just a few seconds to talk about something a little bit serious. I'm normally the guy that's kind of jovial and making the jokes and whatnot, but on this particular occasion, I want to take just a moment to talk about something that we all have in common. If you're watching this video, you are either a motorcyclist or you know someone who is. And so while we enjoy the travel and we enjoy the experience and we enjoy being on the motorcycle, there always is that inherent danger that there's something bad going to happen, whether it's going to be in a traffic accident or whatever. And if you're injured, you need some help. Well, I want to tell you about Rick Stewart. He's in Greenville, South Carolina. There are very few motorcycle-specific lawyers in South Carolina, and he happens to be one of them. You might know that he is also the South Carolina, the Palmetto ADV rally that's held here. He is a sponsor of that, and he is now also a sponsor of our channel, and we are supremely happy to have him. Keep in mind, he's a motorcyclist, so he gets the idea of what could happen on the road. And so if you are ever in an accident or you need some lawyer assistance because of something that has happened on the road, scmotolawyer.com. I'm going to put some stuff up on the screen here in just a second, and I want you to screenshot it on your phone. That way, if you are ever in an accident, you can just pull up the photos in your phone and use it. scmotolawyer.com. Rick Stewart. Now for the big reveal. Let's look underneath this remove for GPS mount and see what Norden has provided. It's pretty cool, right? There's a hole right there. And then inside, zip tied to the side, which we have already cut, are a couple connectors, a brown wire and a black wire. One's hot, one's not. We also have these type of connectors. These things, which I don't know what the name are not included. So it should be fairly simple. No soldering needed, apparently. We'll just need a crimper tool to connect the wire that comes from the mounting plate of the GPS. Trim that off, put these on, plug it in, put the screws back in with the MotoPumps mount. Should be fairly simple, but as you guys know, this is a Jason project.
Sometimes foreshadowing is relatively obvious.
All right, we don't know what the power is over there. It's a brown and a black wire and then another brown wire. And I'm not an electrician, so I'm gonna open these packages, see what's in there, and if it doesn't have any instructions, I'm sure that I can find it on Google about the Norden. So I'm not really all that worried about it, but if you're an electrician, put it in the comments below on what you think the positive and the negatives are. I'm going, the striped wire is the positive. So that's my bet. We shall see, we shall see. But check it out. Just like we figured, we have a barcode that says mount instructions. Thanks, MotoPumps and Rob. That makes life a little bit easier. Cool. So here's the mount, like this, and it's going to end up going up here. And then let's undo the one that has the locks. Nice packaging, by the way, with the MotoPumps on the outside. And stickers! Don't forget your stickers. Double bagged. We got the keys, the proprietary keys in here, so that nobody can steal your GPS. And then this mount, this plate, will go on here, something like that. And then we will mount the GPS to that. So cool. Give me a minute. I'm going to scan this QR code, and find out what wire's what, and then we'll get on with it. Now, with all that being said about the wonderful attributes of this locking plate, which I'm sure that you have watched with Chris on his Aprilia and all of the benefits thereof, I currently have one of the older model Zumos. Well, I'm going to have to upgrade if I want to use the lock, because the lock has a bar across the top that keeps you from depressing a button in the new versions in the middle. Well, this one has a locking mechanism that happens on the side here, and it pushes out here. So this is not going to work for me. However, it does give me some reason to upgrade. Hey wife, it's time for an upgrade. Christmas present?
Ho, ho, ho.
One thing with the MotoPumps GPS mount is that it fits this little area dadgum perfectly. So it leaves no extra room around the sides. Well, one thing that does create for us is, where are we going to put the wire when it comes down out of the GPS? Well, some could run it down the front between the windshield and the instrument cluster here. Or I think what I'm going to do, set this aside, is there are 2 screws, one on each side of the instrument cluster, that I'm going to remove. And then if you look straight down over the top, you'll see a gap that happens right there. So if I remove these 2 screws, I'll be able to run my line through here. I'll spread this out, and I'll run my line through here and then up to here, so that it'll all be hidden. So it'll come out of the bracket of the GPS, go down and through here and into where we're going to connect everything. So I'm just going to remove these 2 screws to give me a little bit of playroom. Don't lose them.
Maybe it was your time to lose.
So this, as you see, moto pump goes up like this, and then the bracket for the GPS itself will end up going like this, and then the wire will end up going like that, and then fished down and into this. All of this extra will be inside this compartment, making it nice and clean looking. So all we got to do now is just connect the wires. Now that we've put the connectors on the ends and crimped them tight, we just find the corresponding wire. We have a black with a red stripe and a brown. Black with red stripe goes to red of the GPS. That's hot. So we shove this down in there and make sure that everything seats well. I might need some needle nose. I'll grab that in a second. But that one seems to have started. And then that one seems to have started. There we go. They're all connected. So let's just fish the wires back into this convenient little spot where we can hide all of the extra Garmin cords. This is kind of neat. I'm not trying to be super organized here because you're never going to see it. Just like that. Then I am going to see if my little idea to hide the cord is going to work. Push this down in here. With a little bit of effort, I might need something to push and pull with, but I think I'm going to be able to get it. There we go. I might not need a screwdriver. There, got it. Cool. So it goes just like that. I'll put these screws back in, and then we'll tackle the mount. Now that we have attached the screws for the dash, the original dash, we're now going to attach the MotoPumps mount right there, and these screws into the side. Socket. So we use either the original hardware or provided hardware.
You're going the wrong way!
The GPS mount to the MotoPumps mount. There's 1, 2, as Mr. Owl said, 3, and anyone who has ever played golf hopefully has said, 4. Okie dokie. It's the memento of truth, as they say. Veritas momentarily. Get this hooked in here like I know what I'm doing. Hopefully. It's upside down. That's probably why. I mounted it upside down. I mounted it upside down.
Why?
I mounted it upside down.
Look at the camera.
I mounted it upside down. All right, well, we didn't get all the way through it. Jason does have to do something twice. Fortunately for me, it's not necessarily the hard part, so give me a second. Now it's the moment of truth. It was the moment of truth before, but now it's the real moment of truth. Sort of like fake news. Here we go. I agree. Yay! We have a Garmin Zumo hooked to switched power on the Norden 901 on a MotoPumps mount. Hit the like button, the subscribe button, and leave a comment on how I did it wrong or how you do it differently. Thanks, Rob. Keep watching. See you on the next one.
Let's head outside and take a motorcycle ride.